and welcome back to Kindling, where African stories come to life. I'm Awe, your storyteller by the fire. Now, today we have a tale from the highlands of Ethiopia, home to ancient kings and soaring mountains. Did you know that Ethiopia is one of only 2 countries in Africa that was never colonized, and that it has its own calendar with 13 months in a year? Fascinating. Now, in the Amhara culture in particular, stories were often told under the moonlight, full of riddles and parables meant to teach and provoke thought. Today's story is just such a story within a story, that reminds us how wisdom can be more powerful than weapons. Our tale today is entitled The Snake in the Bottle. Let's begin. Once, long, long ago, there was a mighty king. He was a warrior king, bold and fierce, who marched across the land, north, south, east, and west, winning great battles and gathering untold treasure. Now, because he was always at war, the king built a secret treasury room in his palace and hired a loyal guard to watch over his riches. Now, this guard did his job very well. He chased away thieves, locked every door, and guarded the treasure like a lion guards his den. But one day, the guard began to desire the treasure for himself, and so he took a little, then a little more. Piece by piece, coin by coin, jewel by jewel, he carried the riches away to a secret place of his own. And to hide his crime, he filled the king's treasure chests with stones and pebbles. Now, many years passed. The king grew old and tired from battle, and at last he returned home to enjoy rest and to spend the wealth that he had spent so long acquiring. The guard, seeing that the king was coming back into the palace, bowed deeply. Your Majesty, you have returned at last. So there is no need for an old guard like myself. Who better to protect your treasure than the great lion of the kingdom himself? The king nodded. You speak well, and you have served me so well for many years. So you may take this bag of gold. Go on and enjoy your freedom and many nights in peace. And so the guard left smiling. But when the king opened his treasure chests, he found, of course, nothing but dust and stones. Furious but silent, the king sent his horsemen to chase the traitor down. Now, the guard, meanwhile, had tried to flee to another country, but his mules were slow because, of course, they were laden down with the stolen gold and silver. The soldiers caught him before he managed to reach the border. The king wishes to speak with you, said the leader of the horsemen. About what? Asked the guard, pretending innocence. He didn't say, replied the captain, but you must return. And so the guard was taken back to the palace and brought before the king once more. Now the king looked at him, and then he smiled. Sit down here. Let me tell you a little story. The guard sat down, did as he was told, confused, and the king began. Once upon a time, a snake slithered into a farmhouse. It found a bottle of milk left open on the table. Now the snake, being hungry, crawled into the bottle, through the narrow neck, and it drank and drank and drank some more. But when it had finished drinking, the snake found that it was too fat to come out of the bottle. So, what do you think? What must the snake do to escape? The guard thought, it must spit out the milk. Yes, must it spit out all the milk? Said the king. Yes, I believe it must. The king smiled. You are wise indeed. Yes, it must spit out every last drop. At that moment, the guard looked around him, and at every door and every window were warriors stepping forward with their spears. Well, in that moment, the guard realized that he was trapped. And just like the snake in the bottle, he would have to give back every single last piece of treasure that he has stolen. Now, we'll never know what truly happened at the end of that story. Some say, of course, that the guard was forced to give back the treasure that he had stolen. And of course, he learned a valuable lesson, that greed traps the greedy. And that is where the story ended. And so, the moral of the story is simple. Greed traps the greedy. Just like the snake who drank too much, those who take what is not theirs may often find that they cannot escape the consequences of their actions. An important message in our world today, when so many of us can be swayed by the promise of having more than we really need. It's also a tale about wisdom. See how a clever story can be sharper than a sword and get you the results that you want. Well, thank you for joining me. Next time, we will journey to Gabon, where animals speak and cleverness rules the wild. Until next time, remember, the wisdom of ancients lives on in every tale we tell. So keep telling stories.